Hello and welcome to today's Wild Hearthstone deck tech and gameplay video on the Singleton Dragon, or Reno Dragon if you want to call it that. That works too. The deck is basically like a mid-rangey sort of value-y deck that wants to use all of the now, we'll say Reno card, but really it's Singleton cards, like Zephyrus, like where's old actual Reno, like actual Reno and the new Reno Lone Ranger, as well as the new Singleton payoff in Raystraza, or however you pronounce her name. And Raystraza also segues very well into the other half of the just general sort of mid-rangey value plan of playing loads of dragons and dragon synergies. This can be anything from dragon golems and the bookworms to even little things like the Splish Splash Whelp, the Nether Spite Historian. And really what you want to do, honestly, is just, play a standard, slow, grindy game where you get lots of good value and have, generally good cards and good synergy. And you just hope to bury your opponent in all of that value and cards and all those things we just talked about. And there are some cards that, besides just the general responsiveness that all the duplicate cards give you, and like, Zephyrus giving you a board clear, there's cards like Amber Whelp and, where's the name of that card? And like Scale Rider, you can use those cards to remove and buy yourself time. Same thing with like Naturalizes. But really, it's just, a pile of dragons and some synergies and with dragons and just good, old-fashioned, kind of boring, has to be said, but like a good kind of boring kind of deck that just wants to, play dragons. There's not really a whole lot to say about this deck. So, with that all out of the way, we'll go on to game number one, but before we do, remember to like the video if you like it, subscribe if you like my grab bag of content and would like to see more in the future, and if you have any sort of questions like, I don't have X, what about Y, go ahead and leave those down in the comments below, and I'll do what I can to get to all of them. A fair bit of warning, it's not the most, let's be honest, it's not budget friendly. There's fucking loads of legendaries. So be mindful, this is going to be one of the more expensive decks you've probably seen me run to date, now that I think about it. Anywho, now on to game number one. And game number one with our little Reno Dragon list. And this is a perfectly fine hand. We have a curve, things to do. No, it's not. We'll throw back the Scale Rider and the Take to the Skies. We would like to have a dragon in our opening hand if we're going to keep the Breath of Dreams, just so we can... so we can, in theory, get both... There we go. Both sides of the card. One thing I sort of didn't mention in the deck tech is that there is a little bit of ramp in this list, but it's not exactly what we're doing. And if you happen to see, what's the word? The mech guy, I can't remember his name, Audio Splitter or whatever, that raises your hand and mana to 11. I'm running that because I don't have the Guff Wildheart thing. If you have that, go ahead and run Guff. But if you don't, and you have the Audio Splitter, do like I did and make it a good fallback option. Anywho, Breath of Dreams. All that to say, ramp and draw cards. And cares about having dragons. Same thing with the Splish Splash. That, it is Audio Amplifier. Audio Splitter, whatever the hell I called it. It's Audio Amplifier. I was wrong. But yeah, this card. This is a good budget replacement for a Guff if you don't happen to have one. And we will go ahead and play the Whelp. And might as well play the Nether Spite Historian. See what we can find. Sure, we'll take another Raystraza. Why not? Next turn, it's not going to be a terribly interesting turn. Huh. Spell from your deck. Oh, from your deck, Quick Draw is my deck. Okay. They haven't really shown me a whole lot of what they're doing, so we're going to have to just kind of play it by ear and see what happens. Play our own Audio Amplifier, and I guess just Scale Rider and trade in. This deck can go pretty long. So if a game has to go a long time, the deck is very comfortable going that long, with the exception of, you know, like against combo decks. But combo decks, by their very nature, are just going to combo you out in one turn. It's not really the same thing. I guess we'll just trade. And luckily, we've had these few opening early turns to sort of drive home the fact of this deck is, you know, it's not. It's flashy in terms of the like individual card quality, but all things considered, yeah, it's kind of a boring deck. You just, you know, playing dragons and ramping and just doing sort of generically good stuff with a little bit of a synergy like running under all of it. Anywho, I suppose we'll just go ahead and play the Rheastraza now. Again, I'm never going to get her name right. Yeah, we're not going to trade. Might as well make our opponent trade. And next turn we have a whole slew of options. We can do Fae or the Blackwing Corruptor to answer our opponent's board as we see fit. Okay, I'm almost convinced they are also Reno, because they're running very weird oddball cards that, like, it's not like they're going for like some mass res death rattly thing that's like relatively common. So we're gonna do what we can to we're gonna do what we can to not go too wide into a board, so that whenever I assume they play their inevitable Lone Ranger, it's not gonna like totally wreck our face. But we will go ahead and play a Nose Dormu, or however, and a Blackwing. I arguably did that in the wrong order. I could have like just traded and then like used the Corruptor on the 2/3, but it's fine. I mean, cool. Do I care? Discover any legendary... I mean... Okay. I have seen certain versions that love to, like, do, like, almost like a... What's the word? Like an Astral Automaton thing, where they want to get a whole lot of copies of Aman'Thul, so maybe that's what's happening. Sure. The dragon's free, we might as well. Yeah, I think we'll just go ahead and play Nixia here. Just trade. And hopefully make a board that is large enough that they feel the need to use whatever sweeper they are probably holding. It could be what I imagine to be their potential Lone Ranger. Or just, you know, or something like that, where they take my poison seeds. That will work. So maybe they are doing some, something like that. Sure, we'll do a Cro-Magus, but I think we're just going to sit on that for now. I don't want to waste my Reno on that. My Lone Ranger. Maybe I can Zeph and just see if we can take it or silence it or something. A Hex will work. Go face with everything so we don't lose out on any damage. And just Hex it, remove it from the situation. Or from the equation, pardon. Again, I don't want to commit too hard. We're in a good spot. We're relatively ahead. It's better to just keep a subpar board, apply pressure, and make our opponents like respond to this. And we also can, if we need to, either Lone Ranger away a board, or if I start to run out of cards, I can Cro-Magus and get additional copies of whatever I'm drawing, which are going to be, on average, of higher quality. I mean... Okay. Now, if he has... This will be actually... I'm actually kind of glad he did that. This will either confirm or deny, more than likely, my assumption that he might be a Reno deck. Because if he can activate his copy of my Zephyrus, that'll be pretty telling. I think we'll do a Blackwing, Tint Thrasher. Throw the Tint Thrasher into the smaller of the two. Go face with the rest, as the Blackwing will deal with what is left. And we're in a good spot. I mean, we are threatening lethal. So they do have to heal or, again, do some sort of answer. So I'm feeling pretty firmly in the driver's seat, which is a good spot to be. Sorry, is he not? Why play it? Just save the card. Whatever. Is it a random one or any one? Random minion. Okay, so just odds are speaking it's going to be a tree. Which is totally fine. The Mage Scribe? Oh, okay, wait a second. I forgot I have the Blackwing. I can sort of solve this. Hang on, what is this? The end of your turn, force a random... Okay, so I can attack the lure freely. So we'll go ahead and Starfall away with the AoE part. Play the Mage Scribe, and again, just go face, reserving our resources. And at the end of our turn, our Blackwing will target their... No, there's no way I could have gotten lethal there, I don't think. Anywho, at the end of the turn, our Blackwing will get rid of their Behemoth. And again, put us in a spot where they're going to have to keep on just playing consecutive answers. That's an answer. But we're kind of okay with that. Sorry? Oh, for each destroyed, not... I'm thinking of like a Cataclysm thing. Opponent has to... Sure, Crusher. Sure. Guess we'll do... There's no way I'm, like, missing lethal, right? Anywho. Yeah, I don't think so. Do the Emissary. Do a Crusher. And then we'll just play a Golem. Fill the rest of our board up with perfectly fine minions. I'd be very surprised if they have, like, another sweeper. But it's possible. You have no idea. Oh my god, Tess. Okay. Oh, fucking, I forgot. Okay, well played, opponent. Well played. Was that it? Okay. Oh, yeah, it's from other classes. I don't think it includes the class you start as. I don't think it does. Anywho, you can tell I don't have experience playing Tess, almost as if I don't own the card. Or I might own it, I don't know. Anywho, that's a pretty good showing for game number 1. We'll go ahead and go right into game number 2. And game number 2 with our little Reno Dragon. Or, yeah, Reno Dragon Druid. Yeah, it's fine. The OG Reno is a pretty good one to keep in case it's like some sort of Murloc thing or like even like an even shaman that can really rush us down. The ability to like panic button and just get a full heal is very nice. Same thing with the Fae. You know, it lets us answer our board, develop a taunt, and heal some. And a Bookworm is just, you know, a removal for a small thing. Did he just bolt me on one? I didn't think I was playing Magic today. But sure. It's been so long since I've been bolted on turn 1. Jesus. In any game, really. Anywho, since we are... I don't think our opponent's something aggressive. Just going to Invigorate. Which is, you know... In this case, it's just going to be a Wild Growth. Rampant Growth would be the Magic example. Is Wild Growth the Druid one when it used to be 2 mana? Anywho. Our opponent's doing things. I don't know if any of them matter. But sure. Go ahead and play the Future Emissary. If nothing else, just, you know, play a body, reduce your board, just generally develop things. Another card that is not exciting, but is good. Okay, you're gonna really not like when I play something big and, like, actually scary, but sure, that resolves. I would imagine he's not gonna freeze it and then trade. Why? It's not a good... Okay, cool. Whatever. That's certainly an option. Sure, we'll play the Soridormi or whatever. Soridomi. Bleh. Pardon me, my brain and my tongue are not exactly cooperating. This card. Since our opponent isn't doing much of anything, you sure showed me with that Future Emissary, isn't doing much of anything, we're just gonna generally progress our board. See what we draw. Yeah, we'll do a Witch Doctor. I have with a coin. Would I want to refresh mana crystals? Sure. I don't think I need to do it this turn when I can just coin. And we're going to Starfall away. There / my big dragon boy. And our opponent sure is doing things. Feral Spear. Okay, that's a card. I was talking a whole lot of crap, but our opponent might just be playing like a budget list. If I wanted to like actually be like sincere and be a little less of a douche. Because I mean, they aren't playing strictly bad cards. They're making questionable decisions. That's I stand by. But they're not like aggressively bad or wrong or anything like that. Honestly, that's like fantastic. I guess we can get rid of... What do I want to get rid of? Guess we get rid of the taunts. Bookworm 1 down. Go ahead and play the Warder, and then we'll... I think I'm actually... Yeah, we'll send Old Faye at the Wolf, and then we'll just trade away everything else. And at the end, go face. Next turn, we have a Rheostraza. You know, Alexstrasza at home, whatever you want to call her. So, like, I guess barring some sort of, like, a dirty rat thing, or I would say Mutanus, but he's overloaded. Again, feeling pretty firmly in the driver's seat. One of the things that, like, you wouldn't think of when you think of dragons is that, like, they can actually apply a respectable amount of pressure. I mean, usually the dragons you see are only the really expensive ones, like Alexstrasza at home and stuff like that. But with all of the cost reduction we have floating around in here, as well as just the general utility that is provided by both cards like Amberwhelp, for example, and the other dragon support cards and dragons themselves, is that you can actually just apply a lot of pressure as well as have an okay late game. It really does give you that option to basically play a mid-range list, going face, to play a mid-range list and have the flexibility to respond to mostly anything. You know what? In case they are actually Reno themselves, which would explain their weird card choices, I'm going to actually not play Alexstrasza at home. Because if they were Reno, especially the question mark card decisions and choices, would make a little more sense. Like, I don't think he's played a single elemental, or a nature, oh no, nature spell. I'm thinking of a different spell. Yeah, he's either a bud or our opponent. Let's not be rude and assume. Is either playing, you know, a budget list and they're just getting used to Hearthstone. At which point, you know, welcome. The game. Sorry, welcome. The game is fun. Hope you enjoy yourself. Or they're playing some arena list and they're just having to make like weird decisions because they do have that Doc Holiday Reno card as well as in Shaman, as well as all of the other Reno cards that we're running. All that being said, just okay, we'll just bonk our opponent. I guess we're never gonna know. But hey, a win is a win, and I need footage. And our opponent, you know, they didn't do bad. So I consider this a good showing. And since I have the actual time this week, I can go now to a game. Number 3. And game number 3 with our little Reno Dragon Druid. And this is a perfectly fine, if not a very exciting hand. The mistake, if we need it to, we can play it on turn 1 and fight for the board, which we might do. I haven't quite figured out. Yeah. We're going to play the mistake on turn 1 here, since they're a paladin and are likely to be a little more aggressive, just by the nature of the class. But if you were at home, or say going against a slower deck that you know is going to take a long time, or a slower clash, you can always just keep the mistake back as a dragon to keep in your hand for all the various triggers you would need. Let's see what our opponent's doing, if anything. Maybe they're here, maybe they're not. If the game gives me like 3, that's good. If I get 3 turns of a rope, you'll probably never see this game. But in the off chance our opponent just had, like, you know, emergency bio break or what have you. Okay, there we go. What are you coining? Oh, don't coin in hero power. Oh, the coin and pass. Okay, I'm gonna count that as a rope turn. So we're just gonna generally poke our opponent. It didn't go directly to roping, so our opponent is here, and clearly they were here. They coined it into nothing last turn. But this gives me concern. Sure. It resolves. I think we're just going to play the amalgam on the mistake. And just for reference, if you say amalgam, another amalgam, that being a creature with all types, or I'm going to call it changeling, because I'm a Magic player, and that's how I know the term. You basically get a pool from all creature types. Usually, I don't... Well, okay. I was going to say, usually you don't get 2 of the same type, but sometimes you do. It's going to be so weird. I think it's the Patriarch, weirdly. I almost passed my turn. I got, like, particularly bad cards there, but to be fair, when you're randoming a random, basically, you're not going to get the greatest. Okay. Do I care? Or do I just Zephyrus through this? I'm feeling pretty good. I might just Zephyrus through it. I don't know what it's going to give me, but we'll figure that part out. Oh, Earthshock. That's fantastic. Begone! I was looking to get through it, and that's how I got through it. We take those. And they're, you know, they're doing paladin things. The promotion or whatever would imply some sort of dude paladin. That's fine. I have 1 dragon in my hand. I guess we can play old Domi here, whose name I'm not going to butcher anymore. And just keep applying pressure. Hopefully we'll draw more dragons between here and there, so I can actually get some, like, more mileage out of the cost reduction effect. Play minions. What? Okay. That's cool. Come on. Okay, that's something. We can do that. Go ahead and pop the Divine Shield. Doing just fine. Again, haven't really been the most engaged in trying to commentate and be like, hey, I'm doing this for this reason, or that for that reason. Because our opponent is just doing things. Like, okay. I'm getting saxophoned, which is cool. Would like to keep the poison seeds for like a panic sweeper if we need it. So I think we're gonna do a splish splash, a warder, then we'll do a fey here. So we'll throw one whelp and a hero power into the protector or whatever that card's called. And I think we just go ahead and trade the remainder into his board. What's the name of that card? Righteous Protector. I knew it was something Protector. Something very paladin-y sounding. He can saxophone into a good chunk of my board, which I think is great. Cool. That's okay. Sure showed me. 10, 16. This is such a crap poison seeds, but I need it to not die. Our opponent could very easily threaten lethal, so we're just gonna poison seeds and then ping down the remaining tree. Next turn we have a raid boss Nixie if we need it. Trying to get our opponent to like use the charges of a saxophone. Or whatever. It is a saxophone, but it's the horn of the Wind Lord, so I'm going to call it a sax. Alright, opponent. We really in the tank? With my one creature on board? Okay, yeah, that would have killed me. So I feel way better about doing what I did now. My god, yeah, I would have been really dead. Holy crap. Yeah, I feel way better. Holy crap. Down to 4. They've shown a willingness to run these cards. So, but alas, I think I'm gonna need to Reno. We'll breath first and see what we draw. Yeah, it's Reno. It's Reno all day. But yeah, we should get all of our stuff back now. And we gain our Fae. So it does preserve them in the state they are. Okay, that's actually useful. And we're going to take that. I don't think I've had much of or any experience with the whatever the name of that card was, the dragon that sends your things 2 turns in the future. I have so little experience with that card that I didn't know that it preserved the board and the state it was in, like in terms of damage, or if it just like re-summoned them. But it's good to know it actually preserves the state they're in, which granted is a fucking fantastic bit of flavor for the Bronze Dragonflight. So good on you, Blizzard, and good on this deck. This deck is a super, very, very fun and a genuinely very good deck, and not like good in that way that sometimes I'll say for like funny meme decks are good. Like this is just like good by the numbers, like a blue chip kind of like very high grade all-star deck. So if you're looking for a truly fantastic list, like if you're the type of player that because of whatever situation in your life, you get to make like 1 or 2 decks a year just because, you know, you're not made of money, your time's limited, and you wanted like the best bang for your buck, this is the list to do it with. So if you are looking for that one deck that'll like set you up for the next probably year of play in Wild, at least to, you know, the gold rank or the middle of the pack, this is the list I would 1000% recommend. Though it is, again, very budget intensive, so And you can make some budget plays, but a lot of the budget plays are non-negotiable, like all the Reno cards. Anywho, thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you like my grab bag of content and would like to see more in the future. And if you have any sort of questions down below, like, I don't have X, what about Y? While, again, some of the list is non-negotiable, a lot of it is, and there's been a whole lot of dragon support printed throughout the life of Hearthstone, both from the beginning days and the early days, like the Blackwing Corruptor, all the way up to the Alexstrasza at home. And there's a lot of good cards in between there, and that also span across many different rarities. So you can tweak and fiddle to fit your own particular budget at home if you need to. Anywho, all that out of the way. Thank you, goodbye, be kind to one another, you know, don't be a dick, all that stuff. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.